Hello parents, thank you for tuning in from home and welcome to the Miranos program. Today we're going to talk about promoting physical activity indoors and outdoors for your preschool age children. This session will go over expert recommendations to help your child be healthy by being physically active. During this video, we will cover the following topics. Feeding a preschooler. Picky eaters. Tips to try new foods. A positive eating environment. And lastly, child portions. Poster Session 6 is all about helping parents deal with preschoolers who happen to be picky eaters. And in the first poster, we want to start the conversation by stating that between the ages of 3 and 5, children become more independent and start to develop their own eating preferences. For example, at this stage, children have probably started talking more than before and are more likely to reject certain foods, while only accepting other very specific foods. In this poster, we want to stress to parents that this is normal, and as their child's caregiver, they should take this opportunity to influence their children develop lifelong, healthy food preferences, especially right now when they are at such an important stage of development. Starting early to build healthy habits around food is easier and better than later. Now, in the second half of poster 1, there are two things we want to connect to the idea of children developing their own preferences and this being a great moment to building healthy habits. First, we want to validate that sometimes it may be hard to have children like to eat foods that are healthy, like broccoli. But parents should not lose hope because it turns out that it takes about 10 to 15 times for a child to try a new food before they like it. So patience and consistency are key elements to building those healthy habits around food preferences. Second, talking about consistency, we want to talk to parents about the importance of setting a fixed eating schedule, which is beneficial for our health and a habit we want our children to build over time. Poster 2 offers 4 strategies for parents to practice to manage their picky eater at home. Number 1. A way to encourage children to try new foods is by offering the same food to the whole family. Although giving your child options is important, it's also important that everyone at the table is eating a similar meal. That way, your child does not get the idea that they can completely reject what is being served. Number 2. Another way to reduce pickiness is by having your child help prepare food. This helps your child accept food more because they were involved in the process of making the meal. Children can help prepare some of the foods served at the meal. For example, washing lettuce, fruits, and vegetables. They can also help set the table or serve the food. Number 3. Other ways you can involve your child is by asking your child's help in selecting the veggies and fruits you want to take home from the grocery store. This can make them excited about eating the produce they have chosen themselves. And finally, number 4. Another way in which you can encourage your children to try new foods and be less picky is by giving your child eating options. This helps your child know that they do have some independence in choosing their own food and will be more likely to be compliant. For example, instead of saying, "We're having rice for dinner," you can say, "Do you want rice or pasta?" Poster 1 introduced the topic of picky eaters. Poster 2 gave strategies to reduce pickiness. And now, Poster 3 will offer parents some suggestions to get their child to try new foods. First, when you introduce a new food to your child's diet, make sure you pair it with another food they are already familiar with. Second, when newly introducing a new food, make sure you start with small portions and increase it over time. This is why introducing new foods during snack time tends to be useful. Third, parents should be supportive, patient, and persistent. Remember, it takes 10 to 15 times for a kid to try something new before they like it. Fourth and finally, let your child explore new foods with all of their senses. Let them smell, touch, and taste. In Poster 4, we focus on tips on how to create a positive eating environment. This is done by having healthy foods and drinks at home always. This will ensure that your child has access to healthy foods. Having a regular meal and snack schedule is also important. Third, turning off any electronics during meals. And lastly, avoiding using food as rewards and/or punishments. Sometimes children are mistakenly expected to eat the portion size of an adult. Portion control is extremely important because your child can have healthy foods, but if they eat it in excess, they'll be more likely to gain weight. As a general rule, try to serve children about half of an adult's portion size. Similarly, it is not recommended to urge children to clear their plates as this can lead to overeating. Related to this, it's important to teach children to be aware of how hungry they really feel. This is also referred to as the hungry fool meter. What is the hungry fool meter? Well, it is a concept that ties in nicely with what we just discussed in the previous point, teaching children to be aware and mindful of their bodies and learn to identify when their body is hungry and when their body is satisfied to avoid overeating. Therefore, it is useful to encourage your child to practice what we call the hungry fool meter. The hungry fool meter lets us be aware of our bodily sensations, specifically whether if we are still hungry or if we are full. This is a healthy habit not only for children but also for teens and adults. The sixth and final poster of this session is a discussion activity we would like parents to do. The instructions read as follows. Find a partner and discuss the following questions. Number 1. Is your child picky about any food in particular? Number 2. How have you made your child try new foods? And number 3. Have you taught your child the difference between being hungry and full? Have you tried the hungry fool meter? Now try it yourself. Partner up with a fellow peer educator and discuss the questions you see on the screen.